Me when my ex-wife asked how a pair of women's knickers ended up on the car back seat.
I don't know the reason. I search for the reason, I can't find out the reason. It still remains a mystery to me.
Me when a nightclub bouncer caught me sniffing the toilet seats again.
I will leave the club.
How I spent the last 5 Christmases. And the last 5 New Year's Eves. And my last 5 birthdays. And the last 5 Valentine's Days. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. So today we're going to have a showdown, Dior versus Chanel. Who's the best? So I'm going to pick a top 5. So my top 5, combined top 5 from Chanel and Dior. And let's see who gets 3 places in the list and who gets 2. So let me know what you think about that concept and what you think about my picks. Of course, they will be very much my own personal taste. And that's always controversial, a little bit quaint, a little bit old-fashioned, some people think. But who knows? I may surprise you guys. Don't forget, just last chance actually at the moment as I shoot this, Valentine's 20 is your code for 20% off at nortonandwilson.com if it is on or around Valentine's Day 2024 when you watch this, coming to an end after Valentine's Day does. Okay, let's get into it then. Dior and Chanel, arguably the two greatest houses, fashion houses in the world, and the ones with perhaps the greatest reputation for their fragrances. It could well be argued. What do you think about that? Am I right? I think so. And we got, at the moment, off the top of my head, this week, this afternoon, today when I'm filming this, these are my 5 favourites from the house. 2 from one house, 3 from the other. Who's going to win? Okay, first of all, I haven't talked about this one for a long time actually. Fahrenheit Parfum, the original Dior Fahrenheit from 1988, fantastic composition. In 2014, they released a really superb follow-up or flanker called Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. François Demarchi, the perfumer there, wonderful amber woody fragrance. 75ml, I found online in the UK for about £89 on one site today, normally roughly around the £100 mark. Note listing for this one, you got suede or leather. You also have licorice, Sicilian mandarin, my favourite kind of mandarin, violet leaf, rum, coriander, cumin, and bourbon vanilla. My favourite kind of vanilla, single malt Scotch vanilla. Forget it. Bourbon vanilla, yes, now you're talking. Okay, so, yeah, this is really, really good stuff. So, yeah, leather accord. It must be a tester bottle that I've got. It is a really interesting fragrance. It definitely has hints of the original Fahrenheit, that kind of petroleum dark red accord in there. It's a little bit smoother, a little bit less leather jacket, a little bit less rugged, a little bit more sweetness in there, but somehow doesn't lose any of the sophistication. So, a somewhat oriental, dare I say, fragrance. Great staying power and tenacity. For fans of the original Fahrenheit, it still smells good today, that one too, but you just want something a little bit different, a little bit less rugged, maybe a little bit more sexy for Valentine's Day, if you care about that. Fahrenheit Parfum, still a really, really amazing fragrance, in my humble opinion. Moving on then, I'm going to include one from Chanel now. And I've gone, rather than with the original EDT, Chanel Pour Monsieur, which is a little bit weak in its current form. It's always been a weak fragrance in performance, and maybe just not quite as magical as it used to be. But you know what? Chanel don't mess up their reformulations too much. Anyway, I've gone with Chanel Pour Monsieur Eau de Parfum, a 2016 release, and a woody chypre, 75ml. I found online for just £86, which is pretty good going for Chanel. Lemon, vanilla, nutmeg, and vetiver are the only notes I could find listed online. We have bergamot in here. I'm pretty sure there's lavender. And it is just a wonderful, dapper, gentlemanly, citrus-leaning chypre fragrance. A bit like actually, with something in common with our own Bon Viveur from Norton & Wilson. Not that they smell massively alike, but it is a citrus heavy fragrance with a lot of complexity and depth and a certain subtle spiciness, perhaps coming from the nutmeg. Very, very grown-up stuff, very dapper, gentlemanly stuff. Great when you're wearing a suit or dressed up a little bit. Good for cold weather if you find the original EDT a little light for you in the spring and the autumn and winter time. Chanel Pour Monsieur, great gentlemanly stuff. Puts me in the same kind of mood as when I wear Bois de Portugal by Creed. Not that they smell hugely similar, so I think that's really, really great stuff. And forgive me if it's an old-fashioned vibe, but at least it was a 2016 release, if linked to the original 1955 release. Okay, so that was Chanel. Back to Dior. I'm going to piss a few people off. I've tried to avoid ones that you can't get, but I've failed now a little bit with Dior Jules. It is a 2016 release, although again, a re-release of a 1980 classic. Galbanum, Herbal Notes, Cyclamen, Hedione, Black Pepper, Fir, Leather and Cedar. You may be able to still pick up a bottle. They kind of re-released it, but doesn't seem one that they want to push. Just, let's think of the three great powerhouses from the big houses. You've got Coros from Yves Saint Laurent, 1981. Chanel and Teus, considered somewhat of a powerhouse, 1981. And the forgotten gem there is Dior's Jules from 1980. If I had to be pushed, which I'm unlikely to be pushed because nobody really cares, I would have to say Dior Jules is my favourite, actually, currently of the three. So it has that powerhouse vibe in that there's a hint of an animalic, leathery, musky, maybe civet or castoreum undertone to this one. Even pissiness, some people have said, but I don't get that really with this one. It is the greenest of the lot and the freshest of those three that I mentioned. That beautiful bitter green galbanum, woody accords, again, gentlemanly, grown-up, sophisticated, complex, wonderful fragrance. A really refined 80s so-called powerhouse. If you can find a bottle, go for it. I love that one. Had to be in the list. Sorry for the predictability. Chanel's Egoiste, still available, still great in the current formula. Jacques Polge, the father of Olivier Polge, who is now, I think, doing perfumes for Chanel. This one has Brazilian rosewood, my favourite kind of rosewood, coriander, Sicilian mandarin, mahogany, cinnamon, damask rose, carnation, sandalwood, tobacco, vanilla, leather, amber and ambrette. You can pick it up for about £79. I found it online in the UK for 50ml or 100ml, around about the £100 mark. Just one of the best sandalwood fragrances ever. This really sexy, smooth sandalwood accord. Just one of the most, a creamy, woody accord mixed with all these beautiful supporting players. A hint of floral accords in there. A hint of fresh citrus in the opening as well. It's kind of woody, it's rich, it's creamy, it's sexy, it's masculine, it's sophisticated, and it's an amazing fragrance, still very, very good. You don't smell too many people wearing this today. Stand out from the crowd with Egoiste from Chanel. Now, huge drum roll. Which fragrance will I pick and which house will therefore win? We've got two each so far. I'm going to pick my fifth and final fragrance. So, slight distraction for you. I love the original Eau Sauvage from Dior, but I'm not going to put it in the list because the modern version is good, but not quite as magical as it used to be. If you're really lucky, you might find Eau Sauvage Fraîcheur Cure, leather freshness, I think it means. Indeed, that's what it says on the box set, and that's a great flanker, but you're really going to struggle to find that, and it's closer to the original amazing formula, actually, for me. So, still a citrus aromatic. They say a little bit of a hint of leather in that one, of course, but still overwhelmingly just a fantastic citrus fragrance. So I really like that, but I'm not going to pick that because that would be annoying. I have to say then, 2017's Eau Sauvage Parfum. There was a 2012 version. They tweaked it a little bit. François Domechy again. And here's what I said on Instagram about that one.
Hey guys, we're at the excellent Sabrina fragrance shop here in Fuerteventura, Coralejo Resort, and the fragrance I'm going to test out tonight, Eau Sauvage Parfum. Fantastic 2017 formula. It was originally released in 2012, then they reformulated. I was kind of upset because the original one was great and a bit different. This one's still fantastic. Citrus, lavender, vetiver, and elemi. I don't really know how elemi smells, but this is really, really good. It is fresh, it is citrusy, it's grown up, it's gentlemanly, and it has great staying power. So check this one out. I'm over my disappointment that they changed the formula. This new one is equally good, just a bit different.
I don't actually have a bottle yet. I have the 2012 version. It's time I got a bottle. It's an amazing fragrance. It's wonderful. So hence, narrowly speaking, Dior wins. Dior wins as of today. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below, because they got 3 fragrances. The other guys had 2. There's still loads of other amazing fragrances from both houses that I forgot to mention or didn't include this time. Please let me know your thoughts on my list in the comments down below. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project it. Although sometimes life may stink, at least we can always smell good. Bye-bye.